live in a country with a rich culinary background. From the multiple cuisines that we can find all over the country, that's one thing that makes Sri Lanka much more than any other country that you have. But things like plant-based diets or veganism is a bit too unfamiliar to our taste buds. But what if I tell you there's a way of sort of increasing the tastes, increasing the experience of how one could taste plant-based diets? Well, today we are here at the launch of Plant-Based Stories, a complete experience of culinary tourism in Sri Lanka. But the catch is all dishes served here today and have been featured are entirely plant-based. Now today we're launching a 20-minute long video that shows different sorts of forms of how plant-based diets could be elevated, and this also incorporates the very many cuisines that we have all over Sri Lanka. So join us as we explore this amazing culinary experience. I am Sonny Mudanayaka and you are with Pulse. I have with me Miss Sashika Kaloheva, the Manager for Sustainability at Jetwing Hotels. Hello Sashika, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
First questions first. How are you finding the event so far?
Good. It's very nice to be here. It's good to see this topic brought into the limelight and to engage with like-minded people. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah.
From a sustainability expert such as yourself, who is prominent in the hotel industry, how do you find the plant-based diet? How do you think that it might survive in the Sri Lankan context? Do you think it's sustainable? And what does the future of Sri Lanka look like in that regard?
Yeah, obviously from a sustainability point of view, having a plant-based diet, eating as low as in the food chain as possible is more sustainable.
Now, since it is something that's quite doable and is possible for the Sri Lankan future, from a hotel's perspective, now since you represent a quite prominent hotel in Sri Lanka, what sort of steps have a hotel done to sort of promote this and to ensure that this is gone into the diets of Sri Lankans?
Okay, first off, I think what we've worked on is looking at sourcing our ingredients local. So if we can look at from a climate perspective especially, if we can source our ingredients as local as possible, then they are mitigating our environmental impact that much more. So, and looking at plant-based diets, what we can do is one, engage with the local producers, the farmers, etc. And also kind of looking at how we can innovatively, creatively kind of incorporate plants and plant-based products into our menus and our dishes. So that's something I think we can work on and we have been working on.
With us, Ms. Azusa Kubota, who is the UNDP resident representative, here with us for the event. First and foremost, hello to you. How are you finding the event so far?
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. I've traveled around the country to taste different cuisines of the country, beautiful country Sri Lanka, but I never had the plant-based dishes like this, and they are equally or perhaps more delicious.
Since you're a person who's been traveling around a lot, could I ask you, are you a person who fancies a plant-based diet?
To be honest, I don't describe myself as a plant-based person, but now having tasted all these dishes, I don't say why not.
Maybe after today's event, you could have a bit of a change of heart to switch to a plant-based diet, maybe perhaps?
Perhaps, yes. It'll be a progress, yes.
Definitely. So from a UNDP's perspective, how do you think the plant-based diet is sustainable in the long run? And from your opinion also, and part and parcel from the UNDP's opinion, do you think it's sustainable in Sri Lanka?
Well, somebody in the crowd was saying that traditionally Sri Lankan food is very much plant-based. I'm not very aware of that history, but if it's already in people's palate, and also there's an ecosystem for growing right produce, why not? Mr. Dennis Mambao, the Director for Research and Knowledge Management at SLYCAN Trust, the organizer of today's culinary experience. Now, as a person, as a researcher rather, a person who has traveled all over the globe, understood different sorts of culinary expertise and people's diets. From your own expert opinion, do you think Sri Lanka is currently at a standard in par with other global standards for plant-based diets?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think Sri Lanka is actually in a very good position to do a broader shift to plant-based food, because already traditionally there are a lot of plant-based dishes, a lot of plant-based varieties, a lot of ingredients and traditional heirloom varieties of, for example, rice.
So it's more or less, are we in par with what's going on in the global arena? Can Sri Lanka achieve that level of being plant-based diet friendly?
I mean, on par with the global arena, there are many countries at different levels, and it's hard to compare across different countries. Definitely, I believe Sri Lanka is in a position to achieve this and to contribute at a level comparable with other countries to sustainable development and to this climate-friendly, ethical, sustainable food system shift.
Today's event is at Cinnamon Grand Colombo. I have with us Mr. Dushantha Tittawala, the hotel manager here at Cinnamon Grand. First and foremost, hello to you.
Thank you very much.
Alright, so my first question is now, as Cinnamon Grand is hosting this particular event, something that is there to promote plant-based diets, what does the hotel think in terms of promoting plant-based diet to the Sri Lankan customer?
We wanted to promote, the health factors where in the plant also has a nutrition where all the meat items, can produce to your body. So basically, in Sri Lanka, there are a lot of plants, the vegetables, like for example, cinnamon, as I mentioned, earlier. So cinnamon has a lot of nutrition fact and the, cancer healing value. So we incorporate those into our menus for a daily basis, for cooking. So we are giving something better for our customers.